Hi there. Hope you guys are having a good day. So today I just basically wanted to go over National Socialism and I want to talk a little bit about cultural Marxism and ultimately feminism. Um, okay, so and I kind of want to just jump right into feminism, um, and then I'll give you a little background on cultural Marxism. So basically, um, feminism in the United States today is a huge problem. Okay, and I'm not just saying this as a man. I'm saying this because I'm I'm I've recognized what feminism has done to male and female relationships in this country. Um, Feminism uh, and Milo Yiannopoulos really breaks it down a lot better. Feminism, 95% of the claims basically essentially that feminism makes about um, about the problems, because if you can have an argument or discussion about on a factual basis, on a scientific basis, and that's basically when you're having a conversation, what you should strive for in any argument or discussion. You should always try to have a scientific argument or debate. That way you are actually talking about real facts. You're actually talking about real um, testable results. So you use a lot of smart people. They use statistics. So um, Milo Yiannopoulos gets into the statistics a lot more than I'm going to get into the statistics. But basically, um, 90% of the arguments that of the statistical and scientific arguments that feminists make about male um, how males have an advantage in the workplace are just factually incorrect. And so um, feminism in the United States is real, but feminism in the United States has really destroyed um, positive and healthy male and female relationships, and this is something a lot of people don't fully understand. And it's really sad, um, because um, it's very sad to see people going through unnecessary stress and disruption in their marriage and family life. Um, I think we've all been in in the store somewhere, and you've heard a couple fighting about something totally stupid, and they just get upset and they get angry, and it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant to see that, and it's not pleasant to be a part of that, because I know I've been through in relationships before, and it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant to be with someone who is constantly nagging you or constantly, one thing or another. It's not pleasant. So, um, so that's why I'm talking about this. Um, it's hard for me to explain just how dangerous cultural Marxism and feminism ultimately is to a society, but let me just try and break it down for you, exactly specifically why feminism is so dangerous. Okay, so cultural Marxism really um, is about. It's so hard to explain because it's so deep. It's about taking groups of people. It's an ideological and political movement to take various groups of people and to unite them into one group of people. And basically, this has to do with is basically Karl Marx's method. His political ideology of uniting all peoples to eliminate class distinctions and class warfare and end all differences is basically the end all be all ultimate political method. to end all distinctions and all problems, um, and to give everyone rights and privileges and everything, and basically to create a utopia. That's basically what Karl Marx was intending with this, or what he said he was intending with it. The only problem is that when you uh, take down the only way to unite all these various groups into one group is to uh, dissolve their differences. Okay, and so basically, what cultural Marxists do is that they'll take, like, let's say, black people, and they'll try to take white people, and they'll try to unite them into a common group, which is not itself a bad thing, but the only way they're able to do this quickly and is to dissolve their differences. Okay, now what is the difference between white people and black people? Obviously, their skin. Okay, it just makes sense. Obviously, the difference between a white person and a black person is their skin, as well as social ideas and cultural ideas. Those differences have to be resolved in order for those in cultural Marxism, for those two groups to be united. Well, actually, cultural Marxism never works as they say it works, or as well as they say it works. Because ultimately, what you do, and when you unite these groups, is you have to dissolve their differences. The only way to dissolve their differences is to basically make claims about both groups that are untrue. And the claims about white people and about black people is that oh, there is no longer any white or black skin because we're all people. Well, no, that's not true. Because there is such a thing as white skin, there is such a thing as black skin. And just by saying there's no such thing as white or black skin, we're all the same. It sounds nice, but ultimately that doesn't change the fact that white people are different than black people. And there's nothing wrong with being, different from other people, but ultimately, it doesn't change just saying that white people, that we're all the same. No, we're not all the same. We're different, and that's okay. It's okay for us to be different, but that's not what cultural Marxism tries to do. Um, and I mean, it's the same thing with feminism. Okay, there's some feminists who say, "Oh, there's no such thing as," it's kind of part of the transgender thing. There's no such thing as male or female. We're all the same. It's part of cultural Marxism. It's part of the same deal. Okay. There's no such thing as male or female. We are all the same. Well, no, we're not all the same. Okay. I'm a male. There's females out there. Very beautiful. I'll be honest. Like, totally, totally turn me on. But there is a difference between male and female. Obviously, physically, biologically, mentally, like, differences, big differences. A male is completely different than a female, like, psychologically, socially, like, culturally, totally different. One takes an hour to do makeup in the morning, and the other doesn't. I don't take an hour to do makeup. I don't do makeup. I mean, it's totally different psychology. Okay. Um, and but feminists try to kind of pull the cultural Marxist doctrine and try to they're either trying to make men and women the same, which we're not. It's impossible, or they're trying to pull men and women apart completely, like by saying feminism, basically saying, oh, all men are evil. Basically, that's a big claim. There's that men are responsible for all the ills that take place in this culture or society, and that's just false. Like, that's not true. Like, not men are perfect. Men are perfect, not perfect by any means, but we're human, okay? And so, like, it just seems like in feminism is just this anti-human tendencies, where it's just basically like, when you have a feminist, they're basically just out there saying it's all men's fault, when it's not all men's fault. Like, not not every man is responsible for everything that ever goes wrong. Okay, contrary to what feminists would say, not men are not responsible for everything that goes wrong. There is such a thing called personal responsibility and accountability, and sometimes women are at fault. It's true. So, National Socialism is really kind of the antidote to cultural Marxism. And that's one of the reasons why I have decided to go that direction with National Socialism. It's not because um, I'm a male chauvinist pig. It's not because I'm trying to be totally dominant over women. That has nothing to do with it. I'm not that way. Like, I believe National Socialism is the antidote to the cultural Marxist poison that's in our country today, in the United States. Um, because National Socialism it's not about males being dominant over women, but it's about, pursuing, like pro family, policies. It's about pursuing um, healthy families, healthy marriages, healthy personal hygiene. And I think all these things are good. And it's not about agitating our differences. It's not about agitating our differences. But there is a difference. Like, there is a physical difference between a male and a female. And that difference is beautiful. Like, women are beautiful. Okay? I'm a man. I think women are beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's really all I'm trying to say. Like, um, this anti-human agenda that is being pushed by these cultural Marxists, there has to be an antidote to it. There has to be a response to it. And I think that National Socialism is that response to it. If you just look at it, it's pro-human. It's about building families. It's about building a strong culture. It's about building a strong nation. And I don't see anything personally wrong with that. I think it makes a lot of sense. So that's why I support it.